guys, welcome back to my channel. It's Raksi Monique, and today we're going to be talking about renting versus owning. There have been a lot of debates on whether or not renting is better or owning is better, and to be honest, I think that it is possible for it to go either way depending on your situation. So it's never good to knock someone and say, why would you want to rent when you could own a house? And also it doesn't mean that people owning a house are just chucking all their money into something. You do need to consider where you are in life and decide based on the tips I'm going to give you in this video which one is better for you. The biggest thing is sometimes it feels like owning something is better than giving somebody money for something that you'll never get to keep. But the first thing you need to consider is, can you afford to pay the mortgage for the type of house that you want to own? So now, a lot of times in areas that we live in, the mortgage for a new home is gonna cost a lot, and the rent that someone can charge is sometimes less than the mortgage, and you have to consider that. So you might be paying a $50,000 rent, but the person mortgaging the house might be paying $80,000, and have to consider that loss because they know they can't get anyone to rent the place for $80,000. So in that way, if you cannot afford to mortgage the house that you would want to live in, it is actually in your benefit to continue to rent and save the money and put yourself in a better situation to where you can mortgage the house. Now, considering that, putting that aside, yes, it is that when you're paying down your mortgage, you are saving towards something that will be yours in the end. But there are unrecoverable costs on both the mortgage end of things as well as the rent end of things. So even though you think renting is the only thing that's throwing away your money, when you buy a house, there are costs that you pay and you can never get back that money. So now let's consider both sides. For renting, the only unrecoverable cost that a renter usually takes on is the payment of the rent. The owner of the house will take on most of the expenses, and maybe they can make changes, modifications to the inside, but that's all on their own account. The only real cost they have to pay is the rent. Now when you own a house, there are a couple things that are costs that you cannot get back. The mortgage can be considered input that you put into the house, into the cost of the house or the value of the house, and basically you're not really losing that money. But you have to remember that there's interest on this mortgage, and oftentimes after you've calculated the total amount of money that you'll be paying over the period of time that you're paying the mortgage, sometimes you end up paying for 2.5 times or even 3 times the house that you bought. So all that interest is a cost that you don't normally get back. Then you have to consider the cost of maintenance, which includes repair and upkeep. So if the house needs to be repainted, if the yard needs to be cleaned, if anything's broken and it needs to be fixed, you as a homeowner have to pay that cost yourself. And you can't ignore those costs because you don't want to lose value off your property. So you do have to take care of your house and pay Another unrecoverable cost is property tax. Of course, when you own a house, you have to pay the government taxes for the house, and these taxes are paid annually. And finally, the fourth unrecoverable cost that I could think of was the opportunity cost of using the down payment, using the money for the down payment, as opposed to using that sum of money to invest in some funds or some stocks or something. Because the return on the down payment on a house might not be as big as the return on the same amount of money if it was invested in a fund or some stocks. However, I must note that even with all these costs for the homeowner, the renter will only be in a better position if they're investing the money that they're not spending on all these additional costs. So as a renter, if you think that renting is better for you right now because you probably can't afford the house that you want, or don't want to spend all that money on all the other additional costs that the house comes with, you still need to be investing your money. Otherwise, you still need to be getting returns on the money that you're saving while renting. So basically, that's how you decide between renting and buying. Like, find out which one is more affordable for you and make sure that on both sides you're investing your money in something that will give you good returns. So I hope you guys enjoyed that video. If you're interested in preparing to buy your first home, you can watch the video right here. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel right here. I'm here every Thursday at 5 p.m. and today I want you to leave below how you feel about renting versus owning, and maybe what's your situation right now and what you think is working for you, or where do you want to go to next. So thanks for watching this video, guys. Bye.